Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. All right, we're going to follow the same format that we usually cover. We have stories about, our dastardly duo, and then we have, oh my gosh, Kate, William, Andrew, Sophie, Edward. There's so much going on. We have so much to cover. So let's just jump in and get there, shall we? Let's go. All right, so we're starting off this morning. Do you guys remember I showed you this picture that was done, and I even showed you where you could buy it? I really need to get one. This is like a collector's edition sort of thing for me. Anyway, it's the Queen and one of her corgis walking with Paddington. And another one just came out, which I think is really cool, and it's Paddington with Prince Louis. Love it. And for those who can read what's at the bottom, it says, every family needs a pinch of chaos. And I could not agree more. And if you want to buy it, it is also a Lucy Clare illustration. Very easy to find online. All right, moving on. So since I covered Paddington, a lot of people have been sending me photos of their bears. So here is a Paddington Bear that one of my subscribers has had from the UK since the 1970s, and he's traveled around with her. I love it. Keep those photos coming. Next up, we're going to look at this story that Harry and Meghan essentially expected everybody in the royal family to just drop everything because they were there. When in reality, the Platinum Jubilee weekend was just jam-packed with stuff. Everybody had a diary. The diaries were full. Harry could have called somebody to find out what was going on with William's diary. He knows all about the diaries because he used to have one, He just didn't bother. And then he was shocked when nobody stopped what they were doing to pay attention to him. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think Harry's playing with a full deck. I think that he's so delusional. He's got so much self-importance, going on in that brain of his that, yeah. All right, moving on. And this article came out, which really caught my attention. People here in the United States, me included, want to know, after all the horrible things they've said about the royal family, and they're obviously not representing the royal family anymore, why do they still have those titles? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm well aware it's an honorary title because she's called Duchess simply because Harry's called Duke, and that's why. But nobody can figure out why, with everything going on, they haven't had their titles removed. Well, here in the United States, she's seen as someone who's constantly attempting to undermine the royal family. And since the royal family is so popular, people don't get it, but they're saying flat out there really is no good reason why she still holds the title. All right, when I saw this next article, the first thing that went through my mind was, well, it's about time. Somebody is urging her to apologize to the UK because her attacks on the monarchy have been horrible and they have failed, and I completely agree. They're saying that, judging by the massive success of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, her campaign to bring down the royal family didn't work, and she may want to think about a different career. All right, this story is almost laughable. Harry is upset over the way that he was treated by the royal family and the way his wife was treated, and they were sidelined, and he wants an apology from them. They're saying it's very obvious Harry was unhappy, especially when he got to St. Paul's. You saw how mad he was. I think he realized what he gave up, which I think also upset him, but he was very upset that he was largely ignored. He never got to meet with his brother. He's got nobody to blame for that because nobody trusts him. Let me just say, this is going to fall right into their victimhood because they're going to get home and Meghan's going to go, see, Harry, we tried, Harry. We went to the Jubilee. Look at the way they treated us, Harry. She's going to mess with his head. Oh my God, his head is already screwed. She's just going to make it worse. I guarantee you that's what's going on. But the fact that they trashed the family on international television, never apologized, and expected to be greeted with open arms shows just how delusional both of them really are. All right, we're going to go on into this story now. Apparently, Harry's lawsuit against the newspaper, when they published the article about his legal case against the Home Office, is having its first hearing today. He is suing the Associated Newspaper Limited, ANL, who publishes the Mail on Sunday, after the Mail on Sunday ran the story after the hearing about the security arrangements in the UK. Now, interestingly, they put in this article that Harry tried to keep his legal fight with the government over police bodyguards a secret, and then minutes after the story broke, his PR machine tried to put a positive spin. You guys remember that, right? At this preliminary hearing, the judge is going to be asked to determine the natural and ordinary meaning of the parts of the article in the claim and whether they are fact or opinion and whether they are defamatory. Of course, that'll be given out at a later date. Now, reminder, Harry has a separate claim against the Home Office after being told he's not going to be given police protection. Remember, he wants his IPP status back so that no matter where he lives, whatever country he lives in, we have to pay for his security. I'm not going to pay for his security here in the United States. If he thinks he's unsafe here, then he should leave. Anyway, his legal team is arguing that the natural and ordinary meaning in the newspaper that was put out includes the point that he lied about being able or wanting to pay for police protection in the UK, and that he tried to manipulate and confuse public opinion by authorizing his spin doctors to put out the false and misleading statements. We all know that, he's got, sunshine sacks, and they always put out fake stuff. We also know that Harry's attorney got into big trouble with this judge, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens. So you know that, or we should know by now, that he lied in his initial public statement saying he'd always been willing to pay for the police protection, when the true position, when it came out in the high court documents, was that he had only made such an offer recently after the dispute had started. So he said that what the Mail wrote has given him distress and anxiety and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All right, Andrew has reappeared. He was apparently sick with COVID. People said he really wasn't sick, but I think he was, because that is the only celebration that he was allowed to go to, and he had to cancel. So, yeah, I think he planned on attending the service at St. Paul's, but got COVID. Anyway, they've seen him driving around at Windsor in his Range Rover. So he's up and about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start in with the real royals now. Now, do you remember yesterday I showed you one of the things that Kate went to called the Little Village, and they help with, diapers and formula and things that families need? Well, after I uploaded the video, a lot more photos came out, and I just thought it was important to show them because apparently this place does some really fabulous work. So apparently they help with a lot more than just diapers, which is what, I thought it was one of those places like we have here in the United States. They do diapers, but they also do clothing, toys, books, anything that children need, that the parents need. They can go in coats, whatever they need. I love it. And places like this are invaluable, especially in today's economy. All right, moving on. Due to her lack of mobility, Charles is going to step in for the Commonwealth Games. I don't like the fact that the Queen is missing things, but I like the fact that Charles is stepping up to the plate, as things are going. Okay, next story. Well, let's take a look at William. He was spotted selling a magazine called The Big Issue on the streets of London. Now, these magazines are sold to raise money for those who are homeless. The only reason that anybody found out about it was because somebody recognized him, took the photo, and uploaded it to their LinkedIn account. And this, we're being told, was done to celebrate his 40th birthday. So instead of doing some, video thing and asking other people to do work, he got out there and he did it himself. That's what we love about him. These are the silent gestures they're saying that often go unrecognized, because William is so humble and working quietly in the background to help the needy. Now, the most interesting thing that happened was then William asked the guy, "Do you want to buy The Big Issue?" And the guy said, "Well, I don't have any change." So William pulled out a mobile card machine, and here you go. I love it. All right, we're back to Edward and Sophie and their tour the next day. As Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Fleet Auxiliary, the Earl, Edward, met the crew of the RFA Argus at the Majesty's Naval Base in Gibraltar. They were also presented with the opportunity to meet the Duke of Edinburgh International Gold Award holders. I mean, they've done that so many times before, but I just love that. Just shows how far Prince Philip's work has gone. Next up, Sophie started the day at a mental health charity called Clubhouse Gib, where she joined a craft session and helped volunteers at the charity's cafe. And Edward spent the morning at the recently restored Northern Defences, which has now become a heritage site. Fabulous. And from the looks of things here, I myself am thinking the next time I'm in the UK, I may bop on over to Gibraltar. Looks fabulous. All right, moving on. You know, it's a good thing that Sophie is as athletic as Catherine is, because she got stuck doing some archery and hockey. I don't know, well, that stuck is the right term, but you know. Now, she also did the adapted surfing project, and so she went out into the water, and she also joined the Scouts and Girl Guides for some sporting fun. As usual, she did a fabulous job. Now, when she was out on the water, she was actually wearing a shirt called Rebellious Hope. And if you remember, this was the young lady who was, she's famous in the UK, and she has bowel cancer. And this shirt, I believe, is part of the fundraiser to help for that. So, but Sophie wore it well. And she was a real trooper. She got out there and she was paddling and doing a great job. Like we expected anything different from her. I mean, look how happy she looks. Look how happy the people with her look. These are the kind of tours that I like. Deborah James, that's her, with Bowel Babe. Yes. And I love that Sophie and them are wearing those shirts. Absolutely love it. All right, now this is where things get interesting. You guys know Avid from Twitter, from YouTube. Her full name is Avid Gardner. Well, she and her husband, who has his own YouTube channel called Avid and the Baron, they were there when Sophie and Edward landed. And so all the pictures you're looking at are candid pictures taken by them at the airport. You can also go on Avid's channel. She apparently is explaining how she met Edward, stared him in the face, and called him Andrew. No, I'm not kidding. And thank you for the photos and letting me put them in my video. And here's an actual picture of her trying to talk to people on bikers, trying to get them to follow the royal couple and giving them instructions on how to follow the riders without getting stopped by the police and track them down so she can get pictures. I love her. All right, here we go. My UK neighbor who had the party that I showed you guys the pictures from the party was returning my cake stand and said, it's a thing in the UK, you can't return the cake stand empty. And this was what was on my cake stand. I forgot the kind of cake she said it was, but she said it's essentially a sponge cake. It's homemade whipped topping with marmalade or marmalade, however you say it, in the middle. I have to say, once again, my diet is ruined. She keeps buying or making me stuff like this, and I have to eat it. I mean, you know, it's a sin to let food go to waste. All I can say is you guys should be so lucky as to have somebody living next to you in the United States that's from the UK and can cook like this woman can cook. This was one of the best cakes I've ever had. I'm going to have to try to reproduce it, although I know I'll fail. And I want to throw a message out for those of you who are unaware. When my husband and I had COVID, I believe I've let you guys know before, that we had a neighbor that was bringing food by every day because my husband was sick. I couldn't get out of bed. My son was sick. The other son was off to college. We were like desperate for food. And, you know, what do you do? What do you do? This is the neighbor who made us meals every day and every other day and delivered food and wouldn't accept one dime from us. That's who fed us all during our whole COVID thing. I wish she would let me put her name and her picture up, but, you know, I get it. But how do you say thank you to somebody for that? Now, what you see above is the shepherd's pie she made us and the disaster that happened during one of her cooking sprees. I know, right? Ugh. All right, you guys, as usual, lots of information, lots of stories, and I want all of your comments. You know what I'm gonna say next, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Please make sure you hit the subscribe bell. Now, somebody wrote to me from the UK and said, for us, subscribe means sign up and you have to pay. But I think most people should know by now that this doesn't cost anything. So just hit the button, okay? Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Getter, Rumble. You can email me. And for those of you who have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so, so much. And as always, have a great day.